for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $186,777. 3.3, move to find that the need to complete the emergency repairs and restoration of the Springbrook Golf Course Clubhouse is not adaptable to competitive bidding, and to ratify and approve nunc-pro-tunc the action of the Executive Director in approving the contract to complete emergency repairs and restoration with Homecoming Restoration, LLC, doing business as ServPro of Wheaton, Glen Ellen, Lisle, in the amount of $61,401.37. 3.4, approve Resolution 26-01, a resolution to name the new neighborhood park to be donated as part of the Clare Development Plank Road Park. 3.5, approve Resolution 26-03, approving travel and conference expenses for Park District Commissioners.
Should any items be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately? Seeing none.
Move to accept consent agenda items 3.1 through 3.5.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Anzier?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes.
Move to approve consent agenda items 3.1 through 3.5.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. See no unfinished business. We will move on to our discussion new business, beginning with 5.1, Creekside Park temporary construction easement for the Everly Trace development.
Yes. Good evening. On August 28th, 2025, the Naperville Park District executed ordinance number 1075 for annexation of the Everly Trace development. Bridge Street Properties, LLC, is developing the residential subdivision known as Everly Trace in southern Naperville, west of the intersection of 248th Avenue and 111th Street on the south side of 111th Street, immediately adjacent to the west of Clifford W. Crone Middle School and north of the Park District Creekside Park. A representative of the developer recently approached the Naperville Park District staff about a temporary construction easement along the northern edge of Creekside Park to conduct minor grading and drainage improvement work with full restoration to assist with stormwater flow for both the development and the park. Staff are supportive of the request, as the easement area consists of turf grass and is not improved with any amenities or used frequently. In 2022, the Park District considered a similar temporary construction easement request adjacent to the Charleston Row residential development for drainage improvements along the property. The consideration and review process led to approval of Ordinance 1020 and authorization of a temporary construction easement agreement by the Park District to developer. Tonight I have a handout with this item. So this actually shows the exhibit and the proposed temporary construction easement area. The intent is to review this request this evening and the improvements along northern edge of Creekside Park, and if there's an interest to proceed, an ordinance to approve the temporary construction easement agreement will be presented at the March 12th, 2026 Park Board meeting. So just an opportunity to review this request, and as I mentioned as staff, we support it, but we just want to share with the board this evening.
Any questions or concerns? Makes sense to me. Thanks for explaining it.
Yes, thank you.
5.2, Frontier Sports Complex and Tall Grass Greenway temporary and permanent easements for construction and maintenance of a portion of the DuPage Water Commission's Waterlink project.
Yes, that's a lot. So the DuPage Water Commission's Waterlink project involves engineering installation of a 30-mile long water pipeline extension to provide Lake Michigan drinking water to the Montgomery, Oswego, and Yorkville communities, in addition to the water already provided to Naperville and its residents. This project is an expansion of the existing infrastructure and will provide long-term water source for the growing population in these areas. As part of the proposed project, temporary and permanent easements are being requested to construct portions of the water main in Frontier Sports Complex and Tallgrass Greenway. After discussion with DuPage Water Commission staff, consultants, and legal counsels, Park District staff drafted terms to address anticipated impacts of construction to be included in the easement agreements. Terms of the agreements include preferred scheduling of the pipeline work, restoration of multi-purpose field turf and asphalt paving, and compensation for final repair and turf irrigation systems and paths, which shall be performed by Park District contractors. Draft agreements were included in the February 6, 2026 weekly packet for the proposed easements with exhibits and corresponding terms. The intent is to receive comments and answer any questions as part of today's review. The input received as part of the process will assist staff in finalizing agreements and preparation of possibly presenting the documents for formal approval at a future Park Board meeting.
Any comments or questions on that one? Thank you. Proceed. Okay. 5.3, North Maintenance Facility Site, temporary construction easement for the Riverwalk Place development.
A construction easement agreement by the Naperville Park District to Lee Mandel and Associates for the Riverwalk Place development project proposed at 415 West Jackson Avenue, Naperville, was recently executed on March 14, 2024. The Riverwalk Place property is adjacent to the south of Naperville Park District North Maintenance Facility site. Due to size constraints of the property, developer's builder approached Park District staff in early 2024 and requested to place a temporary construction fence along the lot line, perform fine grading for positive drainage, and install seed and erosion control blanket. The Park District granted temporary easement rights through a temporary construction easement agreement to Lee Mandel and Associates to coordinate access, install a temporary construction fence, fine grade, and remediate the area along the property line. Recently, a representative with Lee Mandel and Associates shared that the project is in the process of transferring to another developer. Additionally, the representative suggested extending the temporary construction easement an additional 2 years from March 14th, 2026 to March 14th, 2028 to ensure enough time for project completion. The requested term extension is recommended by staff. If there is an interest to proceed, an amendment to the temporary construction easement agreement will be presented for approval at the March 12th, 2026 Park Board meeting.
Interesting. I didn't realize that it had switched. Any questions on that one? Thank you.
Thank you.
5.4, Old Farm Greenway Waterway Restoration Professional Services Contract.
Staff commissioned STEMCon Ltd. in September of 2025 to perform professional engineering services for restoration and permitting of the waterway that runs through the northern section of Old Farm Greenway in the amount of $25,000. The scope of work for the initial contract of this project included design services and permitting through the city of Naperville and DuPage County. Last year, staff processed change order number 1 in the amount of $1,800 for additional surveying work required for the project, bringing the contract total to $26,800. After a collective meeting with all permitting agencies in early 2026, the project team identified the need for additional services, including updating the FEMA model with new cross sections, incorporating the information to the DuPage County Stormwater Report to be processed as part of change order number 2. Change order number 2 will add $5,900 and bring the contract sum to $32,700 and require board approval since the new total will exceed the $30,000 threshold. Funds are available within the capital budget to cover the costs needed for the additional professional services associated with the project in 2026. The goal is to complete this work and submit for permit in late spring. Construction for this project is slated to begin in summer of 2026 as originally planned. The intent is to present this project tonight in change order 2 related to professional engineering services contract in preparation of presenting change order number 2 for approval at the March 12th, 2026 meeting.
Understood. Any questions? Okay, thank you. 5.5, district-wide painting and staining projects.
A contract for the district-wide facility painting and staining projects is expected to be presented to the Park Board for approval in March. The scope of work for the 2026 projects package includes staining the entire exterior of the Centennial Grill, as well as the pergolas over the exterior service windows and the pergola in front of the Centennial Beach Bathhouse. Painting and staining of the park support building pavilions, beams, roof decks, and hollow metal doors at Commissioners Park and DuPage River Sports Complex, and painting of the interior staircase railings at the Alfred Rubin Riverwalk Community Center. Pending contract approval, work is expected to occur throughout 2026 with the intent to minimize impacts of patrons and programming.
Great. That sounds great. Moving on to 5.6, native plant restoration and maintenance.
Staff anticipate presenting a contract for performing native plant restoration and maintenance at various sites throughout the park system for zone number 2 to the Park Board for approval in March. Currently, a total of 37 park sites but natural areas are managed by the Naperville Park District. These areas are broken down into 4 zones with the similar site characteristics, plant restoration and maintenance requirements, and parks in close proximity of one another for each zone to streamline the completion of work. In February, staff released public bids for 3 of the 4 zones, zones 1, 2, and 3. Zone 4 is slated to be released for public bids in 2027. The zones are diverse, including woodlands, wetlands, shorelines, and dry prairies. The scope of work includes removal and control of invasive and undesirable plant species and periodic mowing and or burning of the areas to ensure healthy native plant communities. As a result of the bidding phase, staff identified the lowest responsible bids for Zone 1 in the amount of $23,886, and Zone number 3 in the amount of $27,517, each being under the $30,000 threshold for board action. Additionally, staff received the lowest responsible bid for zone number 2 in the amount of $32,000, and we anticipate presenting the contract for this zone to the Park Board for approval in March. Pending contract approval, zone number 2 work is expected to begin in March as weather permits, with substantial completion by the end of the year. So an update on that one.
Great. Appreciate that. Thank you. 5.7 Springbrook Golf Course Maintenance Parking Lot Renovation.
A contract for this project is expected to be presented to the Park Board for approval at a meeting in March. The scope of work includes repaving of the existing asphalt parking lot and driveway for maintenance building at Springbrook Golf Course. A total of $95,000 is allocated in the 2026 golf capital budget for this project. Pending contract approval, work is expected to take place in the spring.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for all those updates. Okay, moving on to 5.8 Annual Financial Policies Review.
Good evening. The annual review of financial policies has been completed. This review was conducted collaboratively by staff, our legal counsel, and our financial experts. Some of the proposed updates are minor, intended simply to clean up language and improve clarity, and others ensure that our written policies are aligned with our current practices. And then there are a few more notable revisions to highlight. First, the update to the purchasing and bidding policies are primarily clarifications. This includes the language describing the types of purchases associated with the bidding thresholds. And as a reminder, the thresholds for work and services is $30,000, and the threshold for materials, supplies, and equipment is $60,000. These clarifications have been carried consistently throughout the policy. Next, the updates to the assessment appeal intervention policy. They stem from recommendations made by our legal counsel and reflect the analysis and practice that has evolved on these matters. The changes acknowledge the modest size of the district's interest in any appeal relative to that of the school district, and therefore encourages cooperation in the process. In addition, due to the cost-benefit analysis of participating in the appeals process, updates are proposed to the maximum loss thresholds. And finally, the updates to the fund balance policy include refining a couple of the definitions and enhancing the language around the guiding parameters to reinforce the legally restrictive nature of the Special Recreation Fund and the Cash in Lieu Fund. The Finance Committee discussed the policy updates at the February 10th meeting, and the recommended updates and the redline versions of the policy were included in the February 13th weekly packet for your review. Do you have any questions?
You do such a good job of explaining. We have no questions.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Moving on to 5.9 Fleet Equipment Purchase.
Good evening. Staff intend on presenting the purchase of a Toro utility vehicle for consideration to the board at a meeting in March. This information was most recently shared at the February 12th Parks and Rec Committee meeting. Purchase of this piece of equipment would be secured via pricing contract awarded through the Sourcewell Purchasing Network. This new utility vehicle was listed in the 2026 Fleet Vehicle and Equipment Replacement Plan, which was included in the 2026 capital budget. Funds are available to make this purchase, and more information will be provided in a memo to the board.
All right. Remember when we used to have to wait like a year for... Sorry, I don't know. I just had like a flashback as you were talking.
It was much more difficult.
I'm really glad we don't have to do that anymore. Thank you very much. Any questions? Okay, go ahead. And then are you... Sorry.
Yep. Next one for fertilizer.
Okay, 5.10 fertilizer for golf and park services.
Staff anticipates presenting a contract for approval for the purchase of fertilizers for golf and park services for 2026 at a meeting in March. As shared at the February 12th Parks and Rec Committee meeting, an advertisement for bid was posted in January with 29 bid documents requested by vendors. 4 submissions were received at the bid opening on February 6th. After review, staff will recommend awarding the contract to Masterplan International LLC, who met all specifications and also provided the low bid. Funds were allocated within both the 2026 golf and park operations budgets to accommodate this purchase, and details for this one will be provided in an upcoming weekly packet.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we will move on to department updates, starting with 6.1, administration.
Good evening. I wanted to quickly share that the 2026 St. Patrick's Day Parade will be held on Saturday, March 14th, starting at 10 a.m. Additionally, there is a legislative committee meeting scheduled for next Tuesday, March 3rd at 5 p.m. here at Fort Hill. Thank you.
Can't wait. Next is 6.2, finance.
All right, just a few updates. Audit field work was completed by the auditors earlier this month, and the annual comprehensive financial report is now being compiled, and that report remains on schedule to be presented to you by the second meeting in June. Next, work has begun on the development of the 3-year plan. A draft report will be compiled once the results of the March 2026 bond referendum are known. And finally, District 203 held its annual Finance and Business Services Career Conference this past Monday at the NIU Naperville campus. Director Seppi, Director Luthman, and I represented the Naperville Park District at this event. They're going to talk about their experiences during their updates. I served as one of the presenters, and my presentation focused on encouraging students while sharing some of the highlights from my career in accounting and finance, along with some insights from my experiences both in the public and private sector. It was really a wonderful event, and I was impressed with the students' thoughtful questions, their willingness to engage and share their interests, and it was just truly a great group.
That's awesome. Thank you. And I'm excited to hear from the others for taking the time to do that. That's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Moving on to 6.3, golf.
Director Carlson is not able to be with us tonight, so I've got his notes. He reports the fickle nature of late winter, early spring weather in the Chicago area experiences has certainly got our staff and many golfers thinking about opening day for Springbrook and Naperbrook golf courses. Our staff has been monitoring weather forecasts and conditions on the courses after several inches of frozen soil thawed after last week's warm-up. Golf maintenance staff are currently going through our course cleanup and open process, which includes cleanup of debris on the greens, tees, and fairways, raking and repair of bunkers, and beginning to move golf course equipment back onto the courses. Clubhouse staff are in the process of onboarding returning and new staff members, along with stocking new merchandise and preparing the concession areas for food and beverage service. It looks like we might get a quick one-day warm-up this week tomorrow, and we'll have a driving range available, but long range, we are targeting possibly next week for opening one or both of the courses. When staff are confident the courses are ready and the weather looks consistently be in or near the 50s, we will work with the marketing department to get information out regarding opening dates and course availability. As the courses progress towards opening, several winter projects are expected to be wrapped up in March. A project to install new fencing is scheduled to begin in mid-March, weather depending. New perimeter fencing will be installed at Naperbrook along Plainfield Naperville Road, and additional fencing will be installed along the driving range at Springbrook Golf Course. The irrigation pump service project at Naperbrook will be finished in March with the reinstallation of the new irrigation pumps and reconditioned motors. Staff will expect to start the irrigation systems at both courses in late March or early April. Also expected to finish up in March is the restoration work in the clubhouse at Springbrook. Contractors have completed the wall repairs and painting, with the ductwork repairs and the new carpeting expected to be completed in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you for delivering that. I'm
It's my pleasure.
hoping you don't have questions.
Thank you.
6.4, human resources.
I have a couple items these related to my last update. Let's start on your end. Good evening. Recruiting for part-time and seasonal positions is in full swing. The district is being well represented at events hosted at area universities and high schools during the first and second quarters of 2026. HR staff participated in the February 18th NIU All Majors Internship and Job Fair. The following day, we were at Aurora University at their Spring Career and Internship Fair. We were back on the NIU campus this Monday, the 23rd, at the Spring Helps Fair. exploring careers in the healthcare, education, legal, and public service nonprofit sectors, thus helps. Also on Monday, Directors Dubiel and Uthman each presented a session at the District 203 Finance and Business Services Career Conference for high school students. I represented the district at the College and Career Fair portion of the event. I had the opportunity to speak with attendees about the various finance and business positions at the district and other governmental entities and our current job opportunities. I especially enjoyed the conversations with employees who worked at our day camp program and at Centennial Beach last summer who brought their friends over to the table to see if we were still hiring. In regard to future plans, the district will host 2 spring hiring events at Fort Hill Activity Center, one being next Monday, March 9th, and the second then on Thursday, April 2nd. Each are scheduled to run from 1 to 3 p.m. Attendees will have the opportunity to speak directly with our hiring supervisors and with representatives from Western DuPage Special Recreation Association and official finders. Both organizations directly support the Park District's programs. The district will also be represented at the March 24th Benedictine University Jobapalooza and on April 7th at the Plainfield Career Fest, a Plainfield School District 202 district-wide career fair. So, while recruiting is a significant focus of the HR team this time of year, we continue to support and engage our employees district-wide. Cindy and my team and the Wellness Committee work to provide a variety of activities beyond physical wellness for benefit-eligible employees over the course of the year. We are currently in week 3 of Attitude of Gratitude. It's a mindset of appreciation challenge. The challenge aims to cultivate gratitude, spread kindness, and strengthen connections. During week 4 of the challenge, employees have been invited to donate food or personal care items to benefit Loaves and Fishes. Collection boxes have been placed in employee areas of the district. Finally, the district received final notice that the CAPA review team assigned to our reaccreditation will visit the Park District the week of March 23rd. The team recently completed their review of our self-assessment that included narratives in response to 154 standards and all of our associated evidence of compliance. While the district, okay, hold on. My throat's going in. While the district has been accredited since 2011, we were last reaccredited in 2021. We have staff that are new to the process, however, whether they're new to the district or new to their role. Earlier this week, an email was sent to all users introducing CAPRA accreditation and announcing the upcoming on-site visit. Additional communication is planned in the weeks leading up to the visit. While with the marketing team's assistance, the table tents that I shared with you were produced, and they're going to go to our major facilities about 2 weeks ahead of the on-site visit. They explain what CAPRA is, the value of accreditation, and employees' roles in an accredited agency. The tents will be placed along with the Naperville Park District branded items to draw employees to that information. Any questions?
This was very smart to do this. I appreciate that you guys did that.
Yeah, it was collaborative effort.
Y'all are smart. That's love that. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Thank you for all that. Appreciate
I was
that.
going to say, this
sorry.
it's every 5 years, right? Did you go
Correct,
through this?
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
It kind of brings back, whether you think of it as positive or negative memories of Joint Commission coming to the hospital to do accreditation, same kind of thing. So I was like, ooh, I remember those days.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, 6.5, IT.
Good evening. Got a few updates from IT this evening. First, about annual cybersecurity training and update. As we mentioned last month, we'll be kicking off the 2026 cybersecurity awareness training actually on Monday. So on Monday, March 12th, staff and commissioners will get their enrollment emails, and throughout the course of March, we'll be working to get everyone 100% completed on that. Additionally, we've been undergoing some network updates, working to update the network edge and firewalls across the district to help eliminate some end-of-life equipment and just in general to build a more resilient architecture. We have a new network security partner. We've onboarded with a company called Uncommon X. They're a security operations center partner. Their platform draws in telemetry from our internal network traffic, Microsoft 365 activity, internal domain activity, firewall logs, and more. There's so much that it brings in. And then it automatically collects, collates, and alerts based on that with human review of significant events to help provide really a level of visibility into everything going on across the network that we've just never had before. And then finally, some camera system updates. Camera systems at a few pilot sites right at the start of the year were updated to a new cloud-hosted platform, which is able to provide us with easier footage review, more resilient storage, and improved security for the platform. So we're currently reviewing all the other camera sites just to scope out what updates will look like across the rest of the district.
That's great. Thank you for your diligence. All right, moving on to 6.6, marketing and communications.
Good evening. I have a few updates for you. First of all, the Spring 2026 program guide was posted to our website yesterday, and registration for spring programs and summer camps, hard to believe, will begin on Monday, March 2nd. Also hard to believe it's going to be March. Can't get used to that. We do have some upcoming playground openings, and I know I had mentioned this to the Parks and Rec Committee a couple of weeks ago. We have those locked in now, so I just wanted to let the whole board know. We've got Columbia Commons on Tuesday, May 19th at 5 p.m., and we've got a double playground opening, which has been confirmed by the Office of Representative Janet Yang-Rohr. She will be attending both Kraler Park and West Greens on Tuesday, June 2nd. Kraler will be at 4:30 p.m., and then we'll transition over to West Greens at 5 p.m. So our first ever double playground opening. It's kind of exciting. And then finally, as Director Dubiel and Director Seppi had mentioned, we were at the District 203 Finance and Business Services Career Conference. I had the pleasure of presenting to a classroom of about 40 marketing and business students, anywhere from sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and there were a couple of instructors present as well from Naperville North and Naperville Central. Had a great opportunity to kind of talk about my career path, which was not a straight line. I kind of fell into working at the Park District 25 years ago, and just talked a little bit about that, and then just marketing and communications in general, and some of the considerations as they're coming along through their education paths and things to consider. So it was a great opportunity to do that. I enjoyed it.
I have no doubt that the students benefited from all of you. So thank you again for taking the time to do that. It's important.
Absolutely.
I really mean that. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Thank you so much. 6.7, Park Police.
All right, good evening. I'm happy to report I have nothing to report, other than I'm wrapping up winter operations this weekend, and I will be adding to the number of officers and patrols starting next week, and we'll be working till 11 p.m. each night. We have helped the city twice this month so far with anti-ice protests. I'll have officers at the Winter Ale Fest on Saturday, and it sounds like we might have a protest coming to Rotary Hill at the end of March that could be sizable, so we'll be working with the city to fine-tune the logistics for that.
Great. Thank you for keeping everyone safe. 6.8, Parks.
Just a couple of quick updates from Parks. I'll try that again. February is one of the busiest months for Park staff when it comes to training opportunities. In the past couple of weeks, staff attended prescribed burn crew training at the Morton Arboretum and classes and testing to receive their state-issued pesticide licenses. This week, those in need of continuing education credits took part in 4 days of virtual sessions offered by the Great Lakes Park Training Institute in Indiana, or in person at the 3-day iLandscape show in Schaumburg. With our 6-month and 9-month part-time positions returning to work as soon as March 2nd, staff have been conducting a flurry of interviews to fill open positions and paperwork for those looking to return. It's still very early in the season, but initial returns indicate that we'll enter the spring with most of our positions accounted for. With a period of warmer than normal temps, staff took advantage of the melted snow and spent several days litter picking the accumulation of trash out in the parks. On the south side of town, our crews also spent a considerable amount of time working on cleaning up the graffiti at the skate park, and we'll look to have portions of the pavilion repainted as the weather warms. On the Riverwalk, staff began upgrading all the Shepherd Crook lights to LED bulbs. We expect the work to be completed over 3 separate phases. This one will include everything east of Main Street. That warm weather also brought an end to our winter ice skating season. Sharing some quick data regarding the Centennial Rink, we had 23 days of skating this year. The 3 previous winters, we had a combined total of 27 days of open ice there. Looking back at historical data, going back to the winter of 2018-2019, and not including this year, we averaged just over 12 days of skating per year. We had 33 days of skatable ice at Nike this winter, indicating that our total at Centennial might have been even higher had we not experienced the issues of the water draining from the basin in mid-December. And then finally, just ending things with kind of a fun story for parks. In December, our digital marketing specialist, Connor Bangs, filmed a video at Wolf's Crossing Community Park to share on social media. In the video, 2 staff members, Nick Nocek and Edith Cruz-Canseco, talk about the planter boxes that were recently installed in the hill to address erosion issues near the stairwell. When that video was posted in January, it caught the eye of a teacher at Riverwoods Elementary School who shared that their second grade classes were covering a science unit about the Earth's surface, and more specifically about how weathering and erosion bring slow changes to land area. After a bit of coordination, on February 13th, we were able to send over some of our team to the school, and they were able to help students connect some of their classroom concepts to what they see out in their community. About 80 students gathered to learn about the project and got to ask questions about a Park District site that many of them were familiar with. And it was something a bit different from our normal duties, but it ended up being a great experience for all involved. And they asked if we might have some future opportunities to meet together again.
I love that. I'm a sucker for these kinds of stories, so thank you. That's amazing. And I loved that video, too. I love all your videos. I know I always say that. I really mean it. That one was really, really wholesome and wonderful. I love something that educates people, too, and then obviously it catches the eye of educators. So that's amazing.
Fun and that we don't get to do very, very often. And we relate a little bit better to the second graders. We send them to the high school students.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, 6.9 planning, sorry.
I have one item for the board this evening. So as identified in the February 13th, 2026 weekly packet, memo regarding capital projects, the Parks and Recreation Committee recently conducted the annual review of capital projects and the positioning of improvements within the policy. The annual evaluation of the capital overview is a very important task for the Naperville Park District because it helps, one, to ensure that appropriate alignment of improvements based on priority and patron needs that sometimes fluctuate over time with the ability to easily adjust implementation schedules as needed. Essentially, the plan is not sitting on the shelf. We're always reviewing it and updating it based on priorities. And two, to serve as a snapshot and planning tool to assist with the park board and staff in the decision-making process. For example, having the updated capital overview assisted us in quickly identifying projects for DCO and OSI grant projects. The most recent capital overview document consists of over 200 projects and district-wide allowances spanning from 2026 to 2035, totaling approximately $97 million. The next steps in the process include the annual virtual capital projects open house event and development of the 2027 capital budget this summer. So just an update there.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you. And finally, last but not least, welcome, 6.10 Recreation.
Good evening. Fort Hill Activity Center continues to experience record participation in facility use. As of February 1st, fitness memberships at the facility exceeded 9,600 members. In January, the fitness center had nearly 23,000 visits, a 4% increase over January of 2025. The track had over 14,000 visits, a 1% increase, and group exercise classes had over 9,600 participants during the month, a 5% increase over January of 25. Youth basketball. The winter session of Naperville Youth Basketball is underway. Participation within the program is consistent with 2025, with 1,713 players. In addition to games being played at the Fort Hill Activity Center, the program also utilizes school gymnasium space. The majority of practices also occur at school facilities throughout the community, and we remain extremely grateful to the Naperville Community Unit School District 203 and the Indian Prairie School District 204 for their continued partnership and support of the youth basketball program and many other Park District activities. Despite our best efforts to place every registrant on a team, the program had 160 waitlisted participants this year, which is slightly less than 2025. When 171 participants were waitlisted. Our staff will continue to work towards reducing the waitlist in future sessions. seasons. Garden plots. Priority registration for the community garden plots took place earlier this month. 260 returning garden plot participants registered during the priority timeframe. Open registration for new gardeners will begin on March 17th and continue throughout spring. 2026 marks the first year when year-round garden plot participants continue to have access to their plots throughout the winter and early spring season. Additionally, we're excited to offer more raised garden plot planting beds in 2026 as a result of the permeable paver parking lot and raised garden plots improvement project that is near completion. Glow in the Snow. The first Glow in the Snow event took place on Saturday, February 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. at Central Park, and it was a success. Roughly 500 people attended, despite the 20-degree weather, and included people of all ages, predominantly families. Participants enjoyed the animal scavenger hunt, learned about winter animals, walked through the light displays while taking selfies, played games, and of course, drank hot chocolate. They also had the opportunity to look at the moon through a telescope provided by Naperville Astronomical Association. We could not have made this event possible without the assistance of North Park staff, custodial staff, the 26 volunteers, full-time recreation staff, and our 4 sponsors. We look forward to hosting the event again in 2027. Program registration. Registration for spring programs takes place on Monday, March 2nd at 8:30 a.m. for residents and on Thursday, March 5th for non-residents. Spring is typically our largest registration, and it also includes registration for summer camps. Staff update. Lastly, on Friday, February 27th, the district will say goodbye to program managers Brittany Malat and Lorraine Woulette. Brittany has served as program manager for many of the arts programs, including dance, and she has decided to remain home with her recently born twins. Lorraine has served as program manager for many of the senior programs and is retiring from the district. We thank them both for their service and wish them well as they begin their new chapter.
Indeed. Thank you for all that. All right. Our next meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners is scheduled for March 12th, 2026 at 7 p.m. here at Fort Hill Activity Center. And we are now moving to executive session.
Move to adjourn to executive session to discuss land acquisition per Section 2C5 of the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Anzier?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes. Thank you, everyone.